Hi, welcome back. Okay, so right now we're all dry and ready to go. It's been less than 24 hours, and now what we're going to simply do is we're going to mix the material again 2 to 1, and we're going to go ahead and apply our second coat. This will demonstrate to you that even on something that's really beat up like this, generally it's really only going to take 2 coats for you to get the job done. What we're also going to demonstrate, because a lot of people ask me, especially at trade shows, or if I go out on an estimate, for example, Chris, how is it going to be if, let's say, we coat something dark? So whether it's a dark piece of wood, or a dark piece of concrete, or a dark piece of metal, and we're going ahead and using something real bright, let's say like white, is there going to be a lot of show through on the first coat? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead on this old beat up palette here, simply demonstrate that by going ahead and applying a coat of white for you. So as you can see with this, after the gel cures, you can then take your sandpaper and sand it down smooth and shape and mold. So not only on a 90-degree scale or a corner, you can also do this on contours and curves as well. Okay, now what we're doing here, where we use the gel epoxy, is we're going to apply 1 coat of our Polycoat system. What this is basically going to do is 2 things. It's going to act as a nice bonding agent between the gel, and it's going to, more importantly, the reason why we're doing this is it's going to smooth this particular area out. Because with that gel, even after sanding, there's going to be little lines and things like that from the sandpaper. So by applying a very thin coat of our Polycoat system, it's going to give you a real nice look and a nice base. So now what you do on top of that is going to come out beautiful like glass. Okay, so now that we've mixed the material here 2 to 1, just like yesterday, we're going to physically pour the material into these large voids. And what you're going to see is the material level itself off and get nice and flat. Now don't be alarmed if you're still starting to see a lot of absorption. You have to remember, this is very, 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 very porous, and it's really soaking up a lot of this material. Okay, what we're going to do here right now is we're actually just going to apply our Polythane 1005. What this is, it's a polyaphatic on a deck that's in relatively good shape, for example, or concrete for that fact. All you're going to do really is simply just apply 2 coats of this stuff, and it's going to do wonders. So like you're going to see on this old beat up palette that we're using, what 2 coats of my Polythane 1005 will do is just marvelous. So we mix the material now 2 to 1, and all he's going to simply do is just pour it on and simply paint it out. Now our first coat of this is really going to act more like a priming coat. This material with this type of wood here, I'm expecting it's going to be probably a good 3 coats to get a good look. But on your average treated lumber, for example, you guys are all going to be looking at just a 2-coat application. We're using our mocha chocolate brown, very common color that's used on the decks, and we decided to actually go with this because of its commonality, and more importantly, just because the wood's dark, it's going to give us a nicer look, I think. And that's it. There you have it. There's the first coat. It's primed, ready to go. In roughly about 6 to 8 hours, we'll be ready to go ahead and start applying our second coat on this particular piece. Now we're ready to go ahead and apply our first coat of our Polythane 1005 in white. As you've seen already, the wood is disgusting. We've already pre-mixed the material, and just like before, he's going to paint it on like regular paint. But look how nice this is going to do on this wood. And also, not to mention, we can also make the material in a high gloss, and we can do it in a flat. We can make any color you want From a Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, Valspar, Bear, color swatch. This stuff is amazing because, again, not to mention 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road from now, this is not going to start to crack, nor will it start to turn yellow on you.